Chidarin.
カープめ、落とすならベッドの上にしろというのだ。
Yeah, I remember now. We were back with Kinzo, and we didn't really have a good point to stop, but we had to. Okay, it's all coming back to me. Hey, Bear.
じいさま、まずいぜ。俺たちは完全に逃げ場なしだ。
分かっておる。そしてこのまま立てこもってやり過ごすこともかなうまい。
ロノウェたちはある程度の時間を稼ぐだろうが、それも一時だろう。
If they just holed up in the mansion and fought from there, it would only be a matter of time before the swarm of goats got them. Trying to repel a few of the goats who barged into the mansion would be like using a cup to bail water from a boat with a hole in it.
しばらくは防戦できるだろうが、それも時間の問題よ。
Hey, Matt-chan.
その防戦の間に何かの手を打たなきゃな。逃げるか。どこへ。ゲーム版の外へ逃げる方法はあるのか。
ゲーム版の外は我らの領地の外側よ。航海者の魔女でなければ出ることはかなわぬ。
A Voyager Witch. Only Burncastle and Lambda Delta could do it. However, there was no way Burncastle would help. Even Lambda Delta had already announced that she would be an observer instead of lending a hand.
逃げ場なしか。
いや、一箇所だけあ
る。どこに。
黄金鏡だ。
What does that mean?
なるほど。もはやそれしかあるまいか。
Oh, wow. Okay.
黄金鏡はこのゲーム版の上で最も不可侵な場所だ。
Most impenetrable place. Okay.
逃れるならそこしかあるまい。
猫箱すら食い破るやつらよ。黄金鏡とていつ食い破ってくるかわからないわ
ね。どうするバトラー。
即決する。撤退だ。決断が遅れればそれさえ不可能になる。全員を黄金鏡へ避難させよう。黄金鏡の扉を開くにはどうすればいい。
わらわが扉を開くだけのことよ。しかしあのヤギどもの群れが凄まじき半魔法の毒素を放っておる。扉が開くのには時間がかかるぞ。
扉が開くまでこの書斎を死守しろってんだろ。やることは何も変わらねえ。
もう一つ問題がある。黄金鏡の扉は外より2人で押さねば閉じられない。
Okay.
外より2人。
Someone will have to be sacrificed.
どういうことだ。
As soon as he said this, Battler realized. This must be an agreement made between the three witches who are one.
普段ならばわざわざ扉を閉めることもないのだがな。今回ばかりはそうもいかぬだろう。
扉を閉める役目はお前とベアとしかおるまいぞ。
領主の俺とベアと一番無難な人選だな。
我ら2人だけならば身を守ることもなんとかなろうぞ。
よし、扉を開けてくれ。
This chapter is just shown in fluff. Okay. I'm all for it. Please hit me. Bato waved her pipe, leaving a golden trail behind as she sliced the air vertically. Then, the gap of the door to the Golden Land appeared. It looked like nothing more than a thin golden string hanging from the ceiling. If you looked closely, you could see that the string was getting thicker, very slowly. The door to the Golden Land certainly was opening, but so slowly that you couldn't even tell if you weren't careful. At this rate, it would probably take quite some time before it grew big enough to let a person through.
じい様とガープはこの本丸の守りを頼む。
外壁をよじ登ってくるヤギどもが現れるかもしれんしな。
心得た。我がライフルは獲物を求めておるわ。
了解よ。
Kinzo, those eyes. He gives me the creeps.
そいつらを奈落の穴に落として遊んでるわ。
Umineko surpasses genres. Umineko is every genre. Oh, there we go. Hello, Will. A giant was sliced at an angle, split into 2 parts, then fell to the floor, showering it with filthy dark blood and guts.
お見事です。
次は譲ってやろう。
Countless massive goats, which had forced their way in from rooms and windows all across the mansion, wandered about in search of something to chew. Ay. Several of the goats noticed the group of people huddled around the staircase and lumbered closer, but they were pulverized by merciless stacks. The one time I'm happy to see that expression on Virgilia's face. Ronove's shields easily halted the charging of the goats, and Virgilia's magic spears pinned the giants against the walls. Delanor's and Will's blades also sliced the goats effortlessly in two. The pinpoint strikes of the Seven Sisters of Purgatory could pierce the vitals and finish off. Pierce the vitals of and finish off any opponent, no matter how large. The Chester sisters were holding their own, too. One shot from their high-caliber firearms blasted so many goats to bits that you couldn't count the kills with both hands. They would have been more than a match for a limited number of opponents. However, they weren't just up against a crowd, but an entire sea. It was like a pebble trying to face the approaching waves of a stormy sea.
Hoshin! 交換急げ! 煉獄隊にカバーを寄せ! 弾が切れたらただのウサギじゃない! 情けない?
7人がかりで一度に1匹しか殺せない文鎮どもに言われたくないに。
さあ、どんどんかかってらっしゃい。私たちを退屈させないで。
The hall was filled with the corpses of massive goats. As if in fear of the sight, the goats that came in one after another formed a wall, keeping their distance. Perhaps... oh, sorry. They didn't say anything for like a split second, and I thought, oh, is this something more that I need to read, but no. Virgilia actually just took the pause at the beginning of the sentence. My bad. I'm sorry. I'm very tired. Today has been like a marathon, and it feels like it's only just now that I actually stopped and am sitting down. Yeah, my bad.
それを期待したいところですが、それは甘いようです。こいつら何なの？私たちを見てボソボソと喋り合ってるわ。
どうやら会話をして連携できる程度の知能があるようだ。
The goats were surrounding them at a distance and whispering to each other. Yeah, at least the music is a vibe. Then they nodded at each other as though deciding something, and the whole group stirred. Oh my god, oh no, I don't like that. That's so creepy, please, no. What are they doing? It almost looks like they're lining up in a different order.
敵、陣形を変更。より突破力のある個体に最前列を譲ったものと推定。
だからなんだというの？行くわよ、お前。はい、お姉さん。お待ちなさい。相手の様子が変です。
Lucifer took aim at one of them, going for its forehead. The other 6 sisters followed their lead, trying to pierce the vital organs all over the creature's body. However, there was no sound of pierced flesh. The seven sisters of Purgatory were knocked back, unable to cause even the smallest wound.
何？どういうこと？こいつら何か喋ってるわ。
The goats kept whispering the same thing over and over as they slowly approached the seven sisters. All of them whispered unanimously. As they whispered curses that denied the seven sisters' existence, the goats lumbered closer.
煉獄隊を下がって援護します。
ヤギども、教育してやる。
My controller's having a seizure. The golden bows of the Chester troops mowed down the wall of goats with a shower of bright golden bullets. The golden bows, what am I saying? The golden bows, yeah, they're weapons, not their bows. I'm tired. Okay, some of the goats were torn to pieces, but some of them seemed completely unaffected. Then the goats who were uninjured all whispered as one. I find this a little bit paradoxical, because aren't the goats themselves personifications of things that don't, like, things that don't actually exist themselves, like, right? Weren't they like beings of magic themselves? So, like,
どうやら
魔法を認めない連中もいっぱいいるみたいだわ。
認めないということは、
魔法の攻撃が一切通用しないということだわ。それじゃあ私たちの攻撃は通用しないってこと？エンドレスナイン、私たちを認めてくれなきゃ攻撃も通じないに。
そんなことが。
試してみるのが一番ですな。
Ronove stepped forward, stamped on the floor twice, and a red barrier rose up in front of him. The crowd of goats dashed into it with a terrifying force. While some goats were blown away by it, several of them slipped right through the magical barrier. Alright.
なるほど。私の攻撃も一切通じない連中がいるようですな。
There was no longer any point in Virgilia trying out her own magic spear. Some of the goats must also have decided that her existence was fictional as well, and she would no longer be able to hurt them. All of these great demons, great witches, high-level furniture and weapons were overcome with fear of the crowd that surrounded them, a crowd that would not be affected by any of their attacks.
どうすんのよ、私。
最後の一発まで戦うのだ。貴様らの戦士は許可しない。
幻想は全て虚構。幻想は全て虚構。幻想は全て虚構。
A shriek from one of the goats became a signal for the wall of them to break. They pushed forward with gaping mouths and foul breath, each trying to reach their prey first, trying to return these fictional creatures to nothingness. Virgilia leapt in front of and held several of the seven sisters, who had fallen on their butts. Amazing writing. Who had fallen on their butts, overpowered by the ferocity of the approaching goats. However, even Virgilia was a fictional creature to these goats. They could chew through her like cotton candy. Ronove threw himself at the oncoming goats. Even he would be chewed apart easily. Knowing this, Ronove leapt forward.
魔法が通じずともこの忠義に熱き熱血漢である事実は揺らぎません、ましてや不女子を見捨てることがあるとお思いで。
Ronove slammed his right fist into the side of a goat's face. As soon as he pulled it back, he swung his left leg into the goat's gut, then spun around into a reverse roundhouse that caught the goat again. Ronove knew. He could do less damage than a mosquito bite against those who didn't accept his existence. This was what it meant to face an anti-magic defense of Endless Nine. The goat swung its log-like fists with a sound like a storm. Ronove dodged by a hair. If he had been an instant slower, the massive arm would have crushed his head like glass.
このロノウェ、ご婦人のピンチを前にはついつい奮い立ってしまいます。私の悪い癖。
Ronove grinned and tried to act tough. He had already abandoned everything. There was nothing he could do here and now except become a shield to bite on. He had already chosen to abandon his life for this. Stop doing that. I'm very uncomfortable. Go away! The goats kept coming trying to feast on Ronove. No one had any pretensions of making this a one-on-one fight. Nothing mattered except chewing apart fantasy. Even just a nibble. As they gnashed those ruthless jaws and fangs, they gathered around Ronove. Ronove's foot hit something and he stumbled. In the same instant, several massive arms reached out and lifted him up.
Minasan, どうかお下がりを。私を夢中でかじる間は多少は時間が稼げるでしょう。しかしこのロの上、少し小骨が多いかもしれませんぞ。
An elbow rammed itself into the massive, hideous jaws that were trying to chew Ronove's head. Of course the goat did moan, but that did nothing but deprive just one goat of his right to the first bite of Ronove's head. Many jaws opened wide, trying to crush him and throw him down into those heartless stomachs which would permit no heartwarming fantasies to exist. All of the many arms lifting Ronove up were sliced off. The seven sisters used this chance to fly forward and grab Ronove, dragging him back.
ミステリーとおっしゃった方はどなたですか？
I love Eleanor when she's in this mode. Love it.
ドラノールの刃は通じるの？
そうか、相手がミステリーを主張するのなら。
Blood-red longsword in hand, Eleanor slowly walked forward. Behind her walked Will, tapping his back with his black blade. Tapping his back with his black blade. Okay. I'm trying to imagine how you would do that.
ファンタジーじゃねえってなら聞こうじゃねえか、お前らの推理。
Are we testing? Are we testing the goats with like the rules of the mystery genre and all that jazz?
皆さんのご考説とても楽しみです。
Oh wow. The crowd of goats stepped back. Though they had been so vicious against the fantasy creatures, they stepped back when faced with the despair of wielding swords of mystery.
このゲーム版で行われた密室殺人の数々、どれからでも受けて立ちましょう。
違うぜ、受けて立つのは俺らじゃね
え。そうでした。ミステリーとは挑むもの。なぜに私たちが受けて立たねばというのか。
分かってんだろうな、お前ら。
You are the ones in the hot seat now. Blue truth cut the goats apart. That blue truth dwelt within each and every one of the riddles in Baldur's games so far. What about the locked room with the chain, first game, second Twilight? What about the locked room of the chapel, second game, first Twilight? What about the trick to killing Nanjo, third game, ninth Twilight? There was no end to the blades. The countless riddles Beatrice left behind became blades, challenges that tore the goats apart. If they wanted to deny fantasy, they would have to make a counter-argument. They would have to deal with every single trick as a mystery. However, although the goats spoke words of anti-fantasy, most of them had prepared no answer for the mystery. Well, every now and then there was a goat who did have an answer.
Nox 第1条、犯人は物語当初の登場人物以外を禁ず。共犯でない複数の犯人が存在して偶然にも一人の犯人が見るかのよ
え。バンダイン第12作、真犯人が複数であることを禁ず。 つまんねえだろそんなミステリー。だから俺は思うぜ、ミステリーはもっと自由であるべきだとな。
ノックスに次回がいいバンダイ20足も時代をくれ。ミステリーの定義は時代によってことごとなるはず。
こいつら開き直りやがった。
やはり私たちは時代遅れということなのでしょう。
なら俺たちを納得させる推理を聞かせてみやがれ。
いざ来たれ。
The whole crowd of goats charged them. In their fangs, each of them carried theories to crush Beto's locked rooms. The bodies of these goats were different than the ones who had become corpses so easily just now. They had mystery-style answers to several locked rooms, so it would take several blade hits to deal them a fatal wound. However, Beto had left many blades behind. All of them were exceedingly sharp. So the pair of Inquisitors didn't think of this as a desperate battle. This was mystery. The goal of a mystery is to use all your imagination and knowledge to challenge each of its riddles head-on. Doing this is the greatest enjoyment of the mystery genre. So they laughed. Both Will and Delanor laughed. With smiles of admiration at the theories of the the goats had put everything they had into, they countered with blades from all the locked rooms. The crowd of goats was no longer an encirclement, but a great wave threatening to swallow the pair up. And yet the pair repelled the enemy without giving an inch. They resisted firmly, cutting through the tsunami of wailing goats. It was like an ice-breaking ship knocking a path through a frozen sea.
Nox 第3条秘密の通路の存在を禁ず。秘密の通路を使用後、要接して使用を可能にしたため。Nox 第8条提示されない手がかりでの解決を禁ず。
Oh, I love this. Oh, she's so badass. Can someone share this one in the Discord? I want it, please. Next wallpaper. Oh, she's so cool. Hey, Badge. Delanor hesitated for just an instant. After all, this cliched and simple theory managed to get around both Beto's locked rooms and the Nox Decalogue. Delanor saw nothingness inside the goats' massive jaws.
Bandain 第7則死体なき事件であることを禁ず。
Surely the jaws of that goat had closed over Delanor's head. However, the upper and lower jaw were no longer connected, so the upper half slid off to the side. Wow, great imagery! Thank you.
ダイノックスも狂言殺人までは封じ損ねた。
殺人以外のミステリーも立派なミステリーです。
The goats didn't give the pair enough time to have a nice long chat about mystery. The next massive figure immediately enveloped them. Will's blade drew a diagonal slash across his chest, but it only cut through its clothes, leaving no wound.
こいつ20の鎖が通用しねえ。
Delanar also hit it with her longsword, but still it just cut its clothes without leaving a mark on its body. Could it be that this goat had a theory that didn't violate Nox or Van Dyne? I was just denying them outright, okay. In an attempt to stop the goat from saying any more, Will and Delanar hit it with blades from every locked room, as well as stakes from the 10 Commandments and the 20 Rules, but none of it had any effect. Slowly the goat clenched his massive fists together and raised them up high. With a roar, Will slammed into the goat giant with his body. Though its massive bulk bent back slightly, Will was still leaping into a death trap. However, if he hadn't done so, he wouldn't have been able to protect Delanar. The goat grabbed Will. It lifted him up and held him high in the air. It was like a little kid showing off his favorite toy and waving it around.
聞いてやら名推理が聞けて散れるならライトの最後にはふさわしいだろうよ。バンダインのクスも推理には何の役の役にも立たん。
The goat's massive hands closed on Will like a vise. All the bones in Will's body creaked.
聞かせろよ、お前の推理。何？なぜならベアトリーチェのゲームのすべて推理するのさえバカしばし。それはどういう意味だ？こんなのは本格推理じゃない。考えるだけ時間の無駄だ。ベアトリーチェのゲームミステリーだとか俺は認めない。
Are these goats supposed to like evoke sentiments from the, I guess, the community, the readers? Because I can imagine that there were groups of people who could have thought along the same kind of lines. People felt called out. It's the internet, of course. Will's head was lowered so his face couldn't be seen. However, the arm of the goat holding him was shaking. The embrace of those log-sized arms with superhuman strength was being slowly pushed away by Will's shaking arms.
考えるだけ時間の無駄。お前、ミステリーを語ってその言葉を口にするのか。
People take themselves a bit too seriously sometimes. And yeah, I'm the one saying that. I am a very serious person, but yeah, even I can tell when I take myself too seriously.
Mystery ってのはな、騎士道なんだよ。
Oh, Will.
自らの掲げた高潔なルールで挑む
その姿勢を誇るもんなんだよ。勝てば卑怯でいいのか、どんなに気高く戦っても負ければ意味はないのか。
Aww. Yes, yes, all of that, yes, yes.
勝ち負けじゃねえだろ。
Aww.
戦う気高さを誇るもんだろ。
The goat's arms were now spread wide, and it looked as though Will was now the one pushing it back. Yeah, exactly. That's a great way to phrase it, Banjo. Will's face was covered in shadow and couldn't be seen.
お前のようなミステリーをする気もねえのにミステリーを語るやつがよ、俺は一番気に入られんだよ。
Will slammed his forehead into the goat's now unprotected head.
ミステリーを語るなら思考で戦う姿勢を誇れ。ミステリーを語るなら二度と思考の停止を誇らしげに語るんじゃね
え。Will headbutted the goat over and over again. His forehead was gushing blood, torn apart by the goat's fangs, but he kept on headbutting. Van Dyne and Knox may be behind the times. The mystery genre does progress with time, just like the world around it. However, there's one thing that must never change. That is pride. What is a knight proud of? Not victory. He's proud of the courage that lets him stand up to anyone without fear. Will couldn't forgive the kind of coward who could turn tail from a fight and then brag about it. People who call themselves mystery fans but who have no pride were the only ones Will just couldn't bear. The goat, unable to put up with this anymore, threw Will down to the floor. Then he lifted his fists again, determined to crush Will to pieces this time.
キラ、お前は俺を叩き潰すだろう。だがそれはお前の勝利じゃねえ。お前は自らのプライドを自らの手で叩き潰すんだよ。
What's happening? A fist like a cannonball swinging down towards him was the very last thing Will saw before he shut his eyes.
思考停止はこのゲームじゃ敗北ってことになってるぜ。
Battler smashed his fist into the goat's mouth and smashed teeth bounced off the ceiling.
バトラ様。
思考停止ってことはミステリーであることを諦めたってことだぜ。ってことはお前にとってはこのゲームはファンタジーってことだな。
Battler lifted up his arm. Realizing this was a signal, Lucifer and Chester 00 jumped.
思考を止めたならお前はもう舞台の上にいるべき役者じゃねえ。偉そうに語ってないで観覧席でポップコーンでも食ってろよ。
The goat lifted his fist again, then swung it down at Battler like a hammer.
ファンタジーに屈したならただの的でしかないに。
それはすなわち私たちの存在を認めるも同じということ。
敵識別を開始。魔法攻撃可能な個体を HMD にマーキング。
ファンタ
タジーに屈服してる子は私たちが相手してあげる。
Don't post on the forums if you don't think it's a mystery.
推理があるならば我らが伺いましょう。
そういう輩は大歓迎だぜ。敬意を示して全力で受け止めてやら
おっと、しかしここはバトラ様の見せ場のようですな。
ミステリーもファンタジーもお前ら自慢のご公説をゆっくりと拝聴してところだがな。しかし今回はお前らのゲームじゃない。お前ら未来のかけらがどんなに否定しようとも俺は折れるわけにはいかねえんだよ。
A golden glint gathered in Battler's hand. It was so bright that the whole hall was bathed in gold. Golden butterflies flitted about, as though the whole hall was being swallowed up by the golden land. Why is it so weird to say the whole hall? It's so weird. It's a tongue twister. Ooh. Battler lifted his golden longsword high.
ミステリーもファンタジーもベアとのゲームに挑む姿勢は大いに結構だ。歓迎もする。だがな、俺のこの最後のゲームの否定だけは眠る者の尊厳を傷つける不謹慎を知れ。
A slice of the golden longsword flooded the hall with a sea of golden light. Then the whole group of goats filling the hall with noise turned into clouds of gold butterflies and scattered. Even so, only about 100 of them had been wiped out. Before long, the massive crowds of goats outside would probably come pouring in like seawater through a hole in the bottom of a ship.
ガートルードたちの封印はもう少しだ。すまないが、もうしばらくここを持ちこたえてくれ。
もちろんだよ、バトラ卿。
それくらいしか私たちに見せ場はないし。
お前らも少しは戦ってもいいんだぞ。
ね。
だって
私たちは
司会者だし。
Their excessive blunt refusal drew a strained smile. However, it had lessened the tension in the room just a bit. I mean, yeah, they're not equipped to fight. What do you want them to do?
バトラ様、ここは私たちにお任せを。これ以上の侵食を許しはしません。そして私たちの誰も決してかけることはありません。
無論です。なぜなら私たちもバトラ卿のゲーム版の大切な駒なのですから。
The Seven Sisters of Purgatory, the Chester Sisters' troops, and everyone else nodded forcefully.
ああ。頼むぜ、みんな。エンジのための最後のゲーム、絶対に守るぞ。
My heart.
下はなんとか持ちこたえてる。
黄金鏡の扉もゆっくりと開き続けているぞ。
Yeah.
まだ時間がかかるがな。
そういうわけだ。俺たちも時間を稼がねえとな。
The sea of goats that covered the ground below them was jostling about more and more. By now, even the sea surrounding the island had disappeared. The horizon was gone, and the chewed-up island was now floating on an eerie emptiness-like space. The goats that flooded the edges of Rokkenjima seemed to be spilling off the sides. Oh man, what an image.
もうおしまいだな。
ゲームマスターがいてコマが揃ってさえいればいつかゲーム版などまた広げられる。ゲームなど人が2人揃いさえすれば何だってできるのだからな。
そうだな。エンジは一体どこへ？
例のあれはどこへ隠した？
そうだ、礼拝堂。礼拝堂はどうなってる？
まだ残っている。
The chapel looked like a white building floating in the pitch black sea of goats. Yes, this was strange. Well, strange is such a relative word to use in the context of Umineko. Anyway, there was no way those goats who consumed everything would go out of their way to avoid just the chapel.
エンジはあそこだ。
Outside the chapel was a sea of goats. Very soon, the earth around the chapel would be eaten away, and it would probably end up floating on nothingness. The rampage of the goats, as they devoured everything and chanted the tragedy they imagined with one voice, truly made a lot of noise. However, none of that reached the inside of the chapel. Enji finally broke the magic seal on the entrance and stepped inside. The seal was supposed to be unbreakable by anyone. However, in the face of Enji Beatrice, Witch of Truth, the one who sought the truth and could sweep aside all forces that prevented her from finding it, no barrier was absolute.
あれね。
A single book, tightly locked, rested on the altar. It was the hidden diary that Ushiromiya Eva had written in even... too many ins. The hidden diary that Ushiromiya Eva had written in, even in her later years. The Book of the Single Truth. It was the one Featherine had shown her in the world of 1998. Oh man, this looks so pretty. What the hell? With the roses and everything, it's so damn pretty. I want to make it. I look at it, I'm like, I want to make that. This time, I have the key. I gripped the gold key that sat in my pocket. The key Oni-chan gave me. Cosplay the key. I can cosplay the rest with the key. As I approached the altar, I saw that the Book of the Single Truth was wrapped in a strange bending of the light.
ベルンカステルの言っていたゲームマスターの封印とかいうやつね。
The Book of the Single Truth was sealed in something like a crystal. It was a seal made by the Game Master's authority. This was on a different level than the breakable magic seal on the chapel door. No matter how Enji used her power as a Witch of Truth, this couldn't be broken by anyone except the Game Master. However, this time, Battler wasn't the only Game Master.
悪いわね、お兄ちゃん。ベルンカステルだってゲームマスター。乗っていって封印を解いてもらえばいいだけの話だわ。
Enji slowly approached the altar.
エンジェは素直にそなたの言うことを聞くだろうか。
俺の妹なら素直には聞かねえだろうな。
ならばどうする？
力ずくしかねえだろうぜ。
Oui. At that moment, a fierce impact hit the pair of them. Beato was flung away, and Battler was sealed inside a massive crystal that extended up to the heavens. What the heck?
なんだこりゃ。
バトラー、なんだこれは。
It was a barrier, a massive cage of crystal. Battler was shut inside a crystal cage like a tower, so large that you had to look up to see the top.
ベアト、お前はエンジを頼め。
そなたはどうする。これを一人で内側より破れるというのか。この結界は密室結界。誰がこんなものを。
俺に密室で挑もうとする奴なんて一人しかいねえぜ。どうやら最後の客がようやく到着したようだな。
まさか。
行け、エンゼを頼む。
Bato left Battler to handle this on his own and headed for the chapel. Battler took a deep breath, then smiled daringly.
待ってたぜ。
Locked rooms are weapons, not because we're not. Yeah, at this point.
退屈だったか、忘却の深淵とやらは。
The answer was a laugh. Yeah, that's right. That laugh is enough.
元気そうじゃねえか。
退屈ではありませんでした。
Yeah, I was thinking that's her.
だって信じてましたから。
だろうな。俺も信じてたぜ。
Battler flung off the cape of the territory lord. It would only get in the way, and it would be a rude way to welcome his final guest.
あの暗い深淵は次にあなたに再会できたなら、どんなミステリーで戦ってやろうかと思案するには実にちょうどいい場所でした。
この水晶の檻は俺たちの決闘のリングってわけか。逃げ場なしのチェーンデスマッチってわけだ。
思えば私たちいっつもチェーンの密室をめぐって戦ってましたね。
You are, yeah, it's true.
ならそうするか。まさにチェーンデスマッチってわけだ。
私に準備はありますが、あなたはどうです？
あるさ。言ったろ、俺も信じてたって。
At the same time, they both brandished their mysteries, sealing the other in a chained locked room.
来い！フルドエリカー！
楽しませてもらいますよ、バトラさん。
What is this? Her face. I. At the same time, they were both sealed inside the locked room, locked with the chain. Of course, it was easy to set and unset the chain from the inside. However, stepping into their opponent's chained room would be difficult. They were fighting to the death with two chain-locked rooms at once. There could be no better locked room duel for this pair, who had battled with theories concerning chained rooms so often. This isn't even her final form yet. Yeah, I believe that. I believe that.
フルドエリカは自殺である、事故死である、病死である、他殺以外のあらゆる理由による死亡である。
自殺じゃないです、事故死じゃないです、病死じゃないです。ちゃんと私はあなたに殺されますよ、バトラさん。
扉の隙間よりの毒ガスによる殺害である、部屋に注水しての溺死である、部屋の空気を枯渇させての窒息死である。
毒ガスではありません、溺死ではありません、窒息死でもありません。密室殺人に毒ガス、溺死、窒息死。
おかしいだろ、面白いだろ。
と後ろ宮バトラは自殺である、事故死である、病死である。今度はあんたの密室を試します。
赤き真実、後宮バトラは視察である、狂気はない。背中にざっくりなんてどうだ。
ぐっと古典密室はそうでなくては。
ならお前もやってみるか。
受けて立ちましょう。赤き真実、フルドエリカは視察である、狂気はナイフ、背中にざっくり。
面白い。
Finally, blitz chess with the fast time control. How bad.
お前の密室ぶち破ってやる。
これは何の真似？
バトラは今所用で忙しい。しばしわらわがそなたの相手をしようぞ。
Bato had sealed the chapel with a locked room barrier. Unless the riddle was smashed with blue truth, Enja wouldn't be able to leave the chapel. After shrugging impatiently, Enja finally faced Bato.
あんたと直接戦うのってこれが初めてなのかしら。
おや、そうなるか。よかろう。手合わせしようぞ。ただしここにはバトラはおらぬ。わらわはバトラがおらぬとちょいと手加減を忘れるのでな。
Whoops, she just forgets.
あら不思議ね。私もそういう性分よ。
完全なる密室にてそなたを殺した。窓も扉も他すべてのいかなる方法をもっても外部との出入りはできぬ。
付き合ってあげるわ。あんたのゲーム復讐要求。
Okay, I'll do my best.
そこでですね、第1回〇〇社ミステリー大賞応募作品中に八条先生が再び偽名にて原稿をお寄せになったという形にいたしまして、もちろん映画化テレビドラマ化全てが同時にリンクして動く形になっておりまして、ぜひ先生の玉稿を我が〇〇社にお預けいただきたく。
賞金は出るのですか？
もちろんでございます。栄えある第1回〇〇社ミステリー大賞賞金1000万円はもちろん先生にお支払いさせていただきます。他にもですね、他にも
面白い。気に入りました。だから原稿は書かないことにします。
先生、そんな。
Everything had seemed to be going so smoothly up until then, so this sudden refusal made the people from the publishing company fall over in their sofa.
私が書いた原稿よりあなた方のシナリオの方が面白い。ですからこの原稿は御社にお預けするにふさわしくありません。
Interesting.
元よりくだらなき原稿、無知猛昧なる読者がいかにそれを棚に上げて自身が推理の限りを尽くしたかのような気分になるよう誘導するだけの打分。それを皮肉と気づき、人の子が自らの愚かさに苦笑する。そんな作品に書いたつもりが、まさか推理小説の扱いを受けるとは。我ながら文才のなさに呆れ果てるというものです。
とんでもない。どうかお許しを。どうか我が社に玉稿を。
金はいらぬが餌が欲しいです。
餌？先生の飼い猫の梅干しの好きな猫ちゃんとの噂を。かしこまりました。至急最高級の梅干し詰め合わせを。
一 一つずつ個別包装してあるやつで一粒200円以上するものしか食べません。あれはやがて高血圧で死ぬな。キムチや辛味噌もよく舐めるし舌のいかれた猫であること。
The cat meowed an objection from where it lay on top of the bookshelf.
この原稿は預けませんが、御社対象用に新しい原稿を執筆しましょう。ただし私の名前では書きません。御社対象の推定投稿数は1000件以上。その中から私の匿名原稿を見事見つけ出し、その上でなお対象にふさわしいと思えたなら、その時改めて先々の話を伺いましょう。それでいかがか。
は玉光を賜れるだけでも至極幸福に存じまする。
あなたたちはいつもペコペコしていて実に面白い。だが今日はもう飽きました。お帰りなさい。人の子に会うのは実に疲れる。
ははご拝謁賜れましたことを深く深く御礼申し上げまする。
A servant guided the people from the publishing company to the door. In the study that was now finally quiet, Hachijo Toya let out a sigh, slumped down in the sofa, and gazed at the ceiling.
疲れるが、たまには人の子の刺激も悪くない。定期的に人と会いなさいよ。ボケるわよ、引きこもってると。
The black cat leapt from the bookshelf and landed softly on the carpet. Then its form silently twisted and became that of Burncastle.
あやつらは実に面白い。たまに招くと退屈を忘れられる。それにメンジ、気が向いたら原稿を書いてやることとしよう。そなたに土産も持ってくるそうだしな。何を餌って。失礼ね。餌であろうが。ほれ。
Hachijo picked up a jar from a shelf, then took a dried plum out and threw it into the air. In an instant, Burncastle turned back into a black cat, caught it in mid-air, and started munching away. And I can just guess that Chidorine is exploding with the cuteness of the moment right now.
先生、お客様がお帰りになりました。
A servant knocked on the door before making this announcement.
ありがとう。あれが目を覚ましたら教えてください。
かしこまりました。何かお紅茶を入れましょうか。
いえ、少し執筆をします。しばらく放っておくように。
はい。
After waiting for the servant's footsteps to disappear into the distance, Hachijo moved to her desk. The desk certainly looked as though it belonged to a great writer, with pages of manuscript scattered across it.
この世紀末にまだペンで書いてるの?
The black cat spoke as it tore the dried plum apart with its mouth.
物語はインクで記す。それが私の不変のルールである。インクで書いて同じものをキーボードで打ち直すなんて。
Interesting.
バカな二度手間だわ。
No, actually no. I did that in the past. Although it wasn't for like really big things. But yeah. There's something different when you write it by hand. And then the next time you do it, it's kind of like you're passing over it and you can like make adjustments and edit stuff.
ならばなぜ人の子は心の中で物語を描き、それをわざわざキーボードで打ち直すというのか。人の子の二度手間もバカバカしい。ならあんたは三度手間ってわけだわ。
Is it the same thing though?
今のは面白かった。
Even as Hachijo laughed, her fountain pen was already sliding across the page. Beautiful letters appeared almost as fast and proficiently as a typewriter. Only humans called her creations manuscripts. With her fountain pen and writing paper, she was creating a world. As she did, the hands of the clock would spin around like a top. The light and shadows that came in through the window changed their angle so fast they might have been the hands of a clock themselves. Slowly, she drew a large X across the tightly packed words on the paper.
気乗りしないの？うまく書けぬ。人を楽しませる原稿とはめんどくさいものだな。何しろ普段人に読ませるために文字など書かぬのでな。あんた、自分が何を言ってるのか、いっぺん原稿用紙に書いてみるといいわ。
Braincastle curled up on the sofa, a mocking smile on her face. Normally, whenever Hachijo was writing, Braincastle would never let herself be noticed, much less talk to her. However, realizing that Hachijo was apparently getting bored with her manuscript, Braincastle yawned and started talking.
何を書いてるの？人の子に捧げる物語だ。どこの人の子？我に朗読を捧げたる巫女に約束した物語だ。ああ、まだ書いてたの。何を書けばあれは満足するのか。私にはもうわからぬのだ。またアウアウが投げ出したわ。あんたはいつだって勝手に物語を約束して最後まで書ききれなくなって投げ出すのね。投げ出さぬからこうして悩んでいる。園児が望む物語は最初から一つしかないわ。一なる真実の物語か。園児はあの日に何があったのか知りたいと希望しているわ。それを煙に巻く物語をいくら書いたって満足するわけもない。一なる真実よりも私の物語の方がよほど面白いと思うのだがな。エンジェは面白い物語が読みたいんじゃないのよ。私はあの人の子にそなたのために物語を書くと約束した。だから私はあやつのためにあやつが喜ぶ物語を書いている。どんなに面白かろうと面白くなかろうとあんたが書くそれは全て幻想だわ。エンジェはそんなものを一切望んでいない。まだわかんないの？一なる真実の書は後宮エヴァが記した。
Hidden amongst the pile of writing paper was Eva's diary.
そして筆者はこれを誰にも明かさずに言った。私は物書きの端くれとしてそれを尊重したいと思うのだ。笑わせないで。物語の腹渡引きずり出して月見で一杯のあんたがそれを語る？真実などつまらぬぞ。いくつもの物語の腹渡を食いちぎってきた末の感想がそれ？そういうことでもよい。
Hello. Okay, we're good. Yeah, I had to change the server on which I'm streaming. It was set to auto. Whatever it was, it kicked me out and it didn't allow me to connect again. It said that it couldn't connect the server anymore. And so I just tried a couple. There were a few that gave me the same error, and then the one I have right now, which is... what did I even choose? Something Germany, I think. Yeah, Germany, Frankfurt. This one worked. Apologies. It's done it in the past. It's the same issue. So here we are. Yeah. Okay. You were saying something about liking the moment Fedorine talks about virginity. What? Okay. What was she even saying? The truth is uninteresting. Okay. You might as well say that. Okay, I see. With a self-mocking laugh, Hachijo set down her fountain pen. 3-hour long stream starting now. I don't have the energy for that much. But I do appreciate the thought that you would stick through with that. Ah, I see. Okay, I see. Right.
私は老いた。老いて最初に理解したのは、知ることより知らぬことの方が貴重であるということだ。
年寄り臭そうな話だけど、付き合ってあげる。どういう意味？
知ることと知らぬこと。この二つは不可逆的な関係だということだ。
そうね。知らぬから知るに移ることはできても、知るから知らぬには移れない。
それを理解したとき、私は知らぬことに宿る処女性にも似た高潔なる純粋さを理解したのだ。
I see.
私は退屈から逃れるために星の数ほどのゲームを、物語を、腹渡を引きずり出しては食らってきた。しかしいつも退屈が癒されるのはほんの一瞬で、その儚さゆえに私は個々の物語を軽んじてきた。
そうね。猫を食らえばお楽しみは一晩でおしまいだわ。
If you eat a cat?
でも生かしておけば、やがては悪態をついたり皮肉を言ったりするようになるかもしれない。
そうだな。勝手に貸し棚を漁ったり、ベッドに忍び込んできて暑苦しいのもなかなか愉快なものだ。
Hachijo looked around at the books covering every square inch of the room, then softly pet the cat's back.
私は一つの物語をもっともっと深く長く楽しむことができたかもしれない。退屈から逃れるために星の数の物語を食い尽くしてきた私は、そもそも初めから物語を食らってなどいなかったのだ。ただ殺していただけ。結局はそれが私をも殺すのだ。
That's very interesting. Okay, I think I like the direction this is going in. Hachijo laughed with
ベアとの
self-derision.
ゲームだって腹渡を引きずり出そうとしたじゃない。
答え合わせを希望しただけだ。物語の紡ぎ手であるベアトリーチェには敬意を表する形としたつもりだがな。
そうね。わかんないやつにはわかんない。うまい朗読だったと思うわ。
エンジェが真実を知ることと知らぬことと、どちらが良い物語となるのか、正直なところもう私にはわからぬ。だからそなたに再び軽蔑されることを覚悟の上で、私はこの物語の続きを書くことをやめようと思う。
やめてどうすんの？
私は書かぬ。記すだけだ。後ろ宮エンジェが自ら紡ぐ物語をな。
またそういうことをするのね。
私は真実を知らぬことをあえて選ぶ方が高潔であると1000年を生き飽きた末に思う。しかし100年も生きぬエンジェにその価値観を押し付けるのも酷であると今理解した。
だからエンジェに委ねようと？
そうだ。それを私は淡々と記す。
エンジェに委ねるということは、もうこの物語の向かう先は半ば決まったようなものだけど。
そうなるだろうな。それでよい。私が記すどのような物語よりも結局は人の子が自ら紡ぐ物語の方が面白いのだから。
ならエンジェの物語に付き合ってあげたら？出番はもう作ってあげたでしょ？
ふむ。私はこの物語にピリオドを打つ役目か。
ベアとのゲーム風に もっとかっこよく言ってほしいわ。猫箱の腹渡を引きずり出す役目よ。
Hachijo chuckled, pushed aside the pile of writing paper, and picked up the book of the single truth. Then she opened a locked drawer.
園児が望むのだ。この書の封印は解かれる運命にあるだろう。園児は一なる真実に至り、一なる真実は猫箱の封印を開いて全てを白日にさらす。それをもってネットの海に無数にばらまかれた愉快なる妄想のボトルメッセージとかけらは全て海の泡となって消え果てる。あやつももうそのようなかけらには疲れ果てただろうからな。
もうあの子も旅を終えてもいい頃だわ。
引き受けようではないか。その度に終着液を与える役目を。
At that moment, there were sounds of someone in the hallway. The instant someone knocked on the door, Berncastle turned back into a black
先
cat.
生、執筆中失礼いたします。
It was the voice of Hachijo's servant.
何か電話なら断ってください。いえ、東野様がお目覚めになりました。ありがとう。軽食の準備を。私の分も一緒に。かしこまりました。
What am I reading? Hachijo stood up. Then she shut the open drawer and locked it again. Inside the drawer lay a glittering golden key.
副賞要求。密室の定義は内外からのあらゆる出入りを否定するものである。
副賞拒否。可能なる密室殺人の定義は完全なる密室の定義とは一致しない。
チェーンが破壊後に修復された可能性。
It's never too late for a new character or two. To be fair, in my mind I was kind of disappointed by the scarcity of new characters in this chapter. Alright, let's see.
扉が破壊後に修復された可能性。壁が破壊後に修復された可能性。
俺の密室にはいかなる修復も存在しない。
グッと本当に楽しいですね、バトラさん。
悪いが今はお前と遊んでる暇がねえんだよ。
こちらこそ悪いですが、真実の魔女の同志エンジェさんの邪魔をさせるわけにはいきません。
そういや、お前も真実の魔女なんだな。なるほど、エンジェの先輩魔女ってわけだ。
一なる真実、それこそが思考にして究極。それに至る全ての障害を打ち破ることのできる魔女こそが真実の魔女です。
そんなにも一なる真実とやらが大事か。世の中には知る必要も価値もないものだってたくさんある。エンジェにとって1986年にどれほどの意味があるってんだ。何もない。
ないでしょうね。1986年に何があったってなくたって1998年に生きるエンジェさんには何の変化もない。それが知ることの無意味さです。ですが一つだけ変えられることがあります。
それは何だ。
どう生きるかです。
Erika transformed her reasoning into a scythe's blade and lashed out at Battler over and over. Battler also created a blade from his reasoning and attacked Erika over and over. In the middle of all this, he questioned Erika, the girl who, like NJ, called herself a witch of truth. Just what is the point of exposing the truth?
そうだな。 人は知ることでどう生きるかを変えることもあるだろう。ならば俺は肉親として願う、エンジェが俺のゲームの末により良い生き方に人生を変えてくれることをな。
知ることで人の生き方は変わりますが、それが良いものになるかは分かりかねます、世の中には知らない方が快適なこともたくさんありますので。
電車の座席シートに生息するダニの数。
Nah. Oh no, don't make me think of that.
水道水にまつわる不衛生な都市伝説。知らねえ方がマシな話はキリがねえぜ。未知なる真実の書は確かにこの島で何があったのかをエンジェに教えるだろう。しかしそれを知って何の意味がある。12年前の悲しみが増すばかりじゃねえか。一体エンジェはさらにあと何年をかければ一人の女の子としての幸せを享受できるって。一体何年をかければその傷口は癒されるんだよ。
Enja's desire to find the truth is hurting her, regardless of what the truth actually is. Though her deep wounds were slow to heal, they did begin to do so during those 12 years. However, Enja kept picking at the scabs. In her search for the truth, she tore at those wounds herself, opening them up once more.
エンジはもう1986年の悲しみから解放されていいんだ。それが俺たち後ろ宮家全員の願いなんだ。
そんなの知ったこっちゃありません。真実こそ全て、真実こそ正義。
中学の頃に誰もが一度はかかる病気だな。大人が隠すことをやたらと知りたくなる。
それを暴くのが楽しいんじゃないですか。
ああ、そうだな。大人の本はこそこそ隠れて読むから楽しいんだぜ。
I assume you would know. Hey.
そなたの青きくさびのすべてを赤き真実によって否定する。そなたの提示するすべての方法でわらわの密室を破ることはできぬ。
Enja was breathing heavily. The book of the single truth was right before her eyes. If she could just defeat Bato, she'd be able to take the book to Burncastle, and then she could read what was inside. Even though the truth of the final family conference on October 4th and 5th, 1986 was right there, the Golden Witch stood in her way. Her anger and hatred spun around inside her head, wiping out the composure that she needed to create theories. Hey, I don't know, does it say what it is? Current track, this one. However you read that. Lixaxel? That's the one. Right, so Enja shook her head several times, clearing away everything that got in the way of thinking. However, no matter how many times she thought it through, the locked room sealing her in the chapel was perfect. Enja wasn't particularly familiar with the mystery genre. However, she knew about all the fragments containing Bato's games so far. Her knowledge was shallow, but it should still have been enough to give her a good foothold. However, no matter how many times no matter how many blue truths she shot at Bato, none of them even made the witch flinch. Bato just blew them apart with the red truth and an elegant wave of her pipe.
いい加減に諦めよ。わらわはそなたとゲームをしているつもりさえな。
絶対に解けない問題、 とでも言いたげね。
バトラがエリカをもてなし終えるまでの時間稼ぎ。そなたの頭を冷やせるのはバトラだけだ。
頭を冷やす？あんたたちが一なる真実を私から隠すからでしょうが。だから私はあんたたちに抗う。これは権利よ。私には後ろ宮家の最後の一人として真実を知る権利がある。
そうだ。だからこそこの最後のゲーム。
そうね。この最後のゲームが与えられなかったら、私には真実に至るチャンスさえ与えられなかった。その点についてだけは私も感謝しているわ。
1986年に何があったのか、何が真実、そして家族を奪ったのか、それを知りたいと願うそなたの気持ちは人間としては真っ当なものだ。しかしそれを理解してなおバトラはそなたが1986年に回帰するべきではないと思った。
お兄ちゃんの言いたいことはわかるわよ。過去を振り返らず未来を見て生きろとか言うつもりでしょ。
そうだ。それをバトラはこの最後のゲームをもってそなたに伝えるつもりだった。
なら答えは早々に出てるわ。ノーサンキューよ、黄金の魔女。私は1986年にもう死んでいた。その後12年間も亡霊として一人ぼっちでさまよったわ。そしてエヴァおばさんが死んで、私が亡霊としてさえ地上にとどまる理由がなくなった。だから最後に一つだけ自分が本当にしたいことをして死のうと決めたの。
それが1986年の真実を知ることだというのか。
そうよ、悪い。
ああ、悪いぞ愚か者。ではそなたは真実に至ったなら死んでしまうということ。ならば至らせるわけにはいかぬ。どこまでも煙に巻いてそなたを生き延びさせねばな。バトラはそなたに生きることを望んでいる。
真実のない生なんて死んでいるのと同じよ。私は生きるために知ろうとしている。
そなたは今死ぬために知ろうとしていると言ったぞ。
ああ、そうね。じゃあ言い直す。私は死ぬために知ろうとしてるの。そして自分の命と引き換えにベルンカステルと契約したのよ。あの日に何があったのか知るためにね。未知なる真実は私が自ら手にするメイドの土産なのよ。
無駄だ。そなたのこの密室は破れる。この密室は完璧だにもかかわらず、そなたをこの密室でわらわが殺す。
She had tried every theory and idea she could think of, even those so absurd they qualified as nonsense. However, none of it had any effect on battle. Powerless and frustrated, with the book of the single truth right before her eyes, Enja bit her lower lip.
本来はそなたに与えた鍵にそなたに未来を選ばせるゲーム。
嘘だわ。こうして礼拝堂に隠して私にはあんたたちの望む前向きな未来の扉とやらでも選ばせるつもりだったんでしょ。そんなのは選択じゃない、押し付けだわ。
親はこの選択肢から不適当なものを間引く権利を有す。
私は子供じゃないわ。自分で考えて行動できる18歳の女よ。
たわけが過去のこと以外何も考えることができぬ6歳の小娘であろうが。
誰のせいでよ。あんたのせいで私はいつまでも6歳のままなんじゃない。真実を覆い隠すあんたの幻想を今こそ打ち破る。そうね、思えばあんたは今こうして礼拝堂に私を閉じ込めてるんじゃない。1986年のあの日からずっと 私はあんたのせいで孤独で誰も真実を教えてくれない密室に閉じ込められているのよ。あんたの密室を今こそ私は自らの手で打ち破る。ああ、ダメね。全然ダメだわ。分かったわ。あんたの完全密室のトリック、復讐要求。私を密室に閉じ込めてから直ちにあんたは私を殺害している。
拒否する。
そうよ。あんたは私を18年かけて殺すのよ。
She said the thing, roll credits.
ありがとう、ベアトリーチェ。それを思い出させてくれたおかげであんたが私を殺す密室殺人のトリックが分かったわ。
エンジェル、そなたは未来ある若者だ。そして未来に生きる黄金の魔女ではないか。ならば未来にて生きよ。過去の真実にどれほどの価値がある。そなたが自ら生み出すそなたの未来の真実の方がよほど価値があるだろうに。
私の人生なんてクズよ。家族は私を残してみんな死んだわ。だから一なる真実を手土産に私はみんなのところに帰るの。
真実を知れば家族の死を受け入れることになるだけだぞ。ひょっとしたら家族の誰かが生き延びていて再会できるかもしれない奇跡に託して生き延びようとは思わぬのか。
安心して。奇跡の魔女でさえそのかけらを見つけられなかったから。
Almost none of the family's remains were recovered from the Great Rakinjibai explosion. Some days, I hoped that this might be a sign that they had escaped the explosion and survived, and that hope gave me the strength to live on. However, that hope wasn't strong enough to support me for 12 long years.
だから私は真実を知りたいと思いながらも無意識のうちに真実から目を背けていた。家族の死をはっきりと理解することで誰かが生き残ったかもしれないという奇跡を自ら否定してしまいそうで。でもね、もうそういうありもしない奇跡にすがって生き延びるのには飽き飽きしたの。だから私は家族の死を受け入れることにした。どのような真実であろうとも認めようと思った。だから私は真実の魔女となった。
過去の真実に目がくらみ自らの未来が見えなくなったものの許せ。バトル、そなたの妹を正しき未来に導くのにわらわは力が足りなかった。
A blazing blue wedge appeared in Enja's hand. It was long, thick, and shaped like a spear.
これで終わりよ。1986年の魔女。この密室は完璧な密室。故に私は出られず、あんただって外部から私に指一本触れることはできない。でもあんたは私をこの密室に閉じ込めたわ。それをもって私を殺したと言える唯一のトリックがこれよ。あんたは私をこの完全な密室に閉じ込めて餓死させた。それを目論んで私を閉じ込めたなら、これは立派にあんたが殺したことになる密室殺人。死因を煙に巻きすぎたのが裏目に出たわね。さようなら幻想の魔女。 See you hell.
With the stained glass window behind her, Beato spread her arms and let the spear of the blue truth pierce her. The blue spear seemed to crucify Beato against the window. Somehow she always gets herself into these situations. It always ends up with the Beato impaled by some sort of weapon.
これが エヴァおばさんの日記。
It's gonna get crowded, hey
真
Zeku.
実の書ね。
Enji picked the book up from where it lay on the altar, sealed in crystal.
それを読めばそなたはベルンカステルとの契約により死ぬために真実を知るのか馬鹿げている。
そうよ。私は死ぬために真実を求めてるの。死に方くらい私に選ばせて。私もバカじゃない。本当の私はきっとあの地上の星空の宙に浮かんでいるのよ。
Brancaso acknowledged me as the final Beatrice and invited me on a journey to learn the truth as 1986. There would be no coming back from that journey. When Brancaso told me that and walked off the roof into the black sky, I followed her into the empty air. Maria gonna be awfully lonely in heaven. Aww. Yeah, I guess so. That was the contract. I wanted two things from Brancaso. One was for someone from my family to come back. The other was revenge. To destroy the witch illusions concealing the events of that day. In other words, to reach the truth. However, the first of my wishes couldn't come true. After all, even the Witch of Miracles couldn't find the fragment where my family came home. So she wordlessly questioned me. She told me that I couldn't reach the truth unless I had the courage to end this worthless life, living like a ghost and hoping someone might come back. So she walked out into the open air and I followed her. Yes, now I can understand. When I offered to trade away my life that day, I made one wish and gave up on another. I wished for revenge against the illusion that hid the truth. And now I have succeeded in that revenge, defeating the master of that illusion and obtaining the book of the single truth. What I gave up was my naivety, my continuing belief that someone from my family might come back. And now I can accept that my entire family is dead.
知らなきゃ生きてることにできるの？あんたたちの言う猫箱というのは死体を隠せば生きていることにしてもいいという甘えた妄想だけがたった一つのトリック。でもね、隠したって死んでいることは変わらないのよ。遠いお空の国でいつまでも見守っているなんて、そんなおとぎ話みたいなので私の傷が塞げると本気で思っているの？私は真実の魔女エンジェ・ベアトリーチェ。起こらぬ奇跡を待って亡霊のように生きる日々から、私は真実に至った高潔なる殉教者として生を終えるのよ。
そなたはマリアの魔導書より魔法の力を理解したのではなかったのか？
ええ、理解したわ。そしてなんて無力なものだろうと絶望したわ。そしてそれがお兄ちゃんが私に押し付けようとしていることなのよね。私が信じれば、魔法があればいつだって家族は私のそばにいる。バカにしないで。そんな魔法で、そんな幻想で、白チュームで私の12年が言えるの？そしてこれから未来の数十年をどう生きていけるの？誰か帰ってきてよ、誰か。でも誰も帰ってこない。じゃあせめてあの日何があったのかだけでも教えてよ。それは教えてくれるそうよ、ベルンカステルが。ああ、我が主よ、今こそ一なる真実の書を手に入れました。今からこれを持ち帰りますから、私に真実をお与えください。家族が生きているかもしれないという甘えた奇跡を捨て去る覚悟はもうとっくにできています。私に今こそあの日の真実を教えて。
A blinding light poured out of the chapel. It seeped from the windows and the cracks of the door, even reaching as far as Battler's and Erika's eyes.
なんだ。
どうやら同志エンジェが仕事を終えたようですね。あなたが無様な封印を施したようですが、我が主に委ねれば冷凍サンマを解凍するより簡単に解いてくれるでしょう。
くそ。
我が主よりエンジェが仕事を終えるまで遊べばよいと命じられています。十分に再会を楽しめましたし、これでお開きにしようと思います。
Erika gave an elegant curtsy.
なぜエンジェに一なる真実をそそのかす。お前の主なら知ってるはずだ。エンジェには何の意味もない真実だと。
ええ、世の中のあらゆる真実に意味などありません。意味を生み出すのは結局のところ人間一人一人の心の中。一なる真実でさえ人が異なれば生まれる意味が異なる。ないんですよ、真実に意味なんて。それでも私が真実にこだわる理由はただ一つ。
探偵だから。
ぐっと。しかしエンジェさんは探偵ではありません。あの子にとって真実はゴール。幸薄き人生に終わりを告げる終止符です。これであの子はようやく生を終える最後のみそぎを終えた。死ぬためにたった一つの真実にこだわる一夜限りの、地上に叩きつけられて死ぬまでのほんのわずかな時間だけのかりそめの真実の魔女。
エンジェを死なせはしない。どんなに辛くても生きてくれ。それだけが俺たちの願いなのだから。生きていればどんな魔法もどんな奇跡だって起こり得るんだ。
それをエンジェさんの肩を抱いて直接言わなかったことがあなたの敗因です。いかがです？あなたのわめきを聞くだけでフルドエリカにはこの程度の推理が可能です。
生きろエンジェ！
He yelled towards the chapel, but Enjo probably wasn't even there anymore. Battler's yell was swallowed by the empty pitch-black sky and the sea of rampaging goats.
どうしえば作戦終了です。退却しましょう。
あら、もうおしまい？今度は私自らがエヴァ犯人説で島中をめちゃくちゃにしてやろうと思ってたのに。
Eva appeared in midair and cackled.
ごめんね、バトラ君。私の力不足で。私は私のやり方で12年間あの子を守ったわ。
感謝する。
でももうあの子が自分で決めることよ。もうあの子も18歳。自分の人生は自分で決めてもいいとは思わない？
悪いな、妹煩悩な兄貴で。
じゃあね。私は今はベルンカステル教の駒。これで失礼するわ。
どうしえば後ほど。
Eva held her palm open, and a small pointy blue fragment appeared there. The fragment burst, and with a blinding flash of light, Eva vanished. It was the same light that had seeped out of the chapel earlier. Pieces cannot leave the game board. However, the Voyager witches alone could come and go. This was probably some sort of magic that Castle had given them. Erika opened her palm as well, and the same sort of fragment appeared there.
それではこれにて。下手をしたらこれでお別れですね。
待ちな、俺たちの決着はまだついてねえぜ。
If he could steal the fragment in Erika's hand, he would be able to go to where Castle was. The seal surrounding the Book of the Single Truth would probably be broken easily with Berncastle's power. However, even so, it would take her some time. If he could steal that fragment, he would have a chance at bringing Enja back.
決着も何もタイムオーバーです。ですが、最後にもう一撃を食らいたいというのがお望みなら、叶えてあげてもいいですが。
He had known that Erika couldn't resist the challenge. After all, Battler already knew what Erika's trick was. He'd figured it out just a second ago. Even while he spoke with Erika, he had been thinking about it inside his mind. He could finish her with this last strike and take the fragment.
いくぜ、エリカ、この一撃で決めてやる。
その一撃でおいとましますので、自慢のとんでも推理の中でもとびっきり面白いのをお願いします。
お前の3つ定義は壁、窓、床、天井、チェーンのあらゆる絶対性を主張した。しかし1点だけ、あまりのバカバカしさに俺が求めなかった絶対性がある。それはチェーンを外部から開閉することの可否だ。
Wait. Let me read that again. I'm so tired. Your locked room definition claimed that the walls, windows, floor, ceiling, and chain were all unbeatable. However, there was one possibility that I didn't check because it was too ridiculous, and that was whether or not the chain could be set from the outside. Okay. Okay, I thought that would be established in the beginning, but okay. Okay.
青き真実、これがお前の3つの答えだ。チェーンの長さ。お前の3つのチェーンは長く、外部からも開閉が可能である。
What a ridiculous answer. However, if you blindly assume that a lock made by an unbreakable chain makes a locked room unbeatable, then this truly would be a perfect locked room. The blue wedge flung from Battler's hand plunged straight into Erika's chest. As she winced in pain, her hand shook, and the fragment she held flew into the air.
バトラさんの密室定義は壁、窓、床、扉、チェーンまであらゆる絶対性を主張しました。しかし一つ、実にバカバカしい定義が抜けていましたよ。青き真実。バトラさんの密室には天井がなく、壁を乗り越えての入室が可能である。
Erika's blue side swung out from behind her back, catching Battler in the side as he stretched his hand out towards the fragment. Battler's hand didn't reach it. The fragment returned to Erika's hands once more.
トリックのバカバカしさは互角だったようですね。ミステリーマニアなら憤怒しているところでしょうか。しかし私は違う。そのバカバカしさを暴くに至ったその過程に恍惚を覚えます。
Of course it is.
それが探偵フルド・エリカ。
貴様、とっくに答えに至ってやがったな。
いいえ、あなたが青き真実を繰り出してからかけらを奪おうと手を伸ばすまでの一瞬で考えました。私は最初から時間稼ぎ。今の一瞬で初めて私は推理を始めたのですから。
Erika broke the crystal barrier that surrounded them. Then she flew high up into the sky, looking down on Battler and laughing at him as she gave a final bow.
ごきげんよう、バトラさん。私の出番がこれだけだとしても、これで私が用済みで再び忘却の深淵に突き落とされようとも悔いのない時間でした。
待て！
No one would be foolish enough to wait on command. With a blinding flash, Erika vanished. NJ had gotten the Book of the Single Truth and returned to Burn Castle. Battler and the others had no way to leave the game board. Everything had come to an end. A gold butterfly flitted by and Bato appeared.
すまぬ。バトラー、エンジェを逃がしてしまった。
俺もすまねえ。奴らを逃がしちまった。もう、お手上げだ。
Battler had created this game for Enje. Now that Enje was gone, the game board no longer had any purpose. And even if that weren't the case, even now the game board was being chewed apart by the goats, like a single leaf floating on a sea of nothingness. Thanks to Gertrude and Cornelia's seals, the mansion was protected from the second floor up. The door to the Golden Land was now open wide enough for a child to slip through. The smaller people, including Maria and Sakutaro, slipped through it.
我が友よ、扉の開きが少し早くなった気がする。はい。私の目にもそのように見えます。お父さん、扉はまだ開きませんか。奴らもうじき窓を破ってきそうです。
クラウス様、どうかご安心を。アイゼルネ・ユングフラウの結界、そうやすやすと破れるものではございません。
もうじき大人も通れるようになります。大丈夫ですよ。間に合います。
しかし、どんどんばんばんとすごいありさまでして、その。
慌てずに待て。どうせ我らには待つ以外にできることは何もないのだからな。
Even the outer walls of the mansion were covered with goats, and they were plunging their fangs and fists into the walls and windows, trying to break through them. So there were goats stuck to all the windows in the hallway, smashing their thick arms against the windows in a way that would terrify anyone even if they knew about the barrier. However, anyone watching the group of goats gathered at the top of the big staircase from the safety of the other side of the barrier would probably feel a different emotion. Instead of terror, it was a sad, empty sort of emotion. The barrier was drawn across the landing at the top of the hall's great staircase. Beyond that barrier, everything had already been eaten away. Was it even possible for those who stood in the hallway of the upper floors to believe that this was the Rokkenjima mansion? By now, no one looking at the scene would be able to imagine such a thing. Forget the hall or even the whole first floor. Even the ground itself was almost gone. The sea of goats had eaten everything apart long before this. They had eaten apart the hall, the pillars of the mansion, the floor, the ground, the sea, the very concept of the island. Every part of the game board Battler had created. And now the only leftover was the upper part of the mansion, which floated along in empty space.
Nani ga Naria?
この島を食い尽くすという快楽に身を任せたヤギたちが虚無に落ちて消えていく。
I wonder what that's supposed to mean. This had once been a huge entrance hall. Beyond it had been a vast rose garden. There had been so many places to stand upon. However, now holes had been dug everywhere, and nearly everything outside the mansion was completely gone. Some goats were clutching to the few remaining footholds and pillars, still eating away at them.
真実を暴くとは殺すことと心得るものなり。
人はなぜ殺さずには生きられないのです。遠大なる歴史の中であれだけの大勢が奇跡を願いながら 結局は奇跡の余地を自ら食い尽くし、自らの足場さえ食い破って奈落へ落ちてゆく。
They saw a goat chewing the same pillar that was holding it up, which unsurprisingly fell into the empty blackness along with the goat.
人間は知るために生きるように定められた悲しい生き物だからです。知ることが自分の生きる夢や希望を自ら食い尽くすことを意味するなら、人間は死ぬために生まれてきたってことになる。私たちは生きろと教えられます。しかし生きてなすことのほぼ全てが結局は自分を殺している。
それ以上考えるな。頭痛にならん。
私は一人の人間として問いたい。知ることは罪なのですか？無知に生きる方が夢や希望があると。
全知に生きることも無知に生きることもどちらにも利点はあるし短所もある。そのどちらに生きるのも自由だ。だから人間ってのは無力なんだ。
人は知ることはできても知らぬことはできない生き物なり。
故に全知の神はそれができぬ人間に代わりて、知るべきことと知らぬべきことを分け隔てているものなり。
過ぎた好奇心は夢も希望も。
人は知るべきでないことを知らぬままに忌避できぬ哀れな存在です。バトラ教がそれをエンジェに伝えきれなかったとしても無理もないことで。
そのエンジェももういない。このゲームももうおしまいだな。
Struck dumb by Will's words, everyone fell silent. Only the sound of the goats eating everything away rang out hollowly. Even if they escaped to the Golden Land, these goats of emptiness would probably chew into that realm eventually as well. Even if they got away for the time being, nothing would be resolved. It was all set in stone now. They had no way to resist the future's violent attempts to tear the catbox of the past open.
なら私たちは生きなければ。人間の愚かさが自ら夢や希望を捨て去ることならば、私はそれを最後の1秒まで信じることを選びたい。
いい根性だ。
私は幾百万の世界のベアトリーチェたちの唯一の希望が具現化した存在だから、私はこんな時でもみんなの希望でなければいけないんです。だから私はまだこのゲームを諦めません。
諦めないとは？
最後の1秒まで奇跡を信じて待つということです。
最後の1秒まであがいてあがき抜こうってわけか。
そうです。私たちの時だってあの恐ろしい猫の胸の中で死を覚悟したではありませんか。でもラムダデルタさんが助けてくれました。もし奇跡を信じずに諦めていたら、私たちは助けられる前に虚無に消えていたに違いない。
私が助けたってより、ベルンがあんたたちを殺し損ねたって感じね。あるいはあの子の気まぐれかもしれない。奇跡の魔女の奇跡的な気まぐれってわけね。
How long has she been there? Lambda Delta was leaning on the handrail of the staircase eating popcorn. She held a cup of popcorn out as if to say, "Want some?" But Leon declined the offer.
バトラ君たちが言ってました。エンジちゃんは自分の命と引き換えに真実を得る契約をしたと。
さっきのあんたたちの話によるなら、それは契約じゃないわね。だって人は死ぬために真実を求めて生きてるんでしょ。つまりエンジは自分の性の全てを真実を得るために費やした。
She was there long enough to eat all of the truck worth of popcorn she had aside from this last bucket. Oh no, now I'm actually getting hungry with all this talk of popcorn.
それを一瞬の時間にベルンが凝縮しただけのことだわ。
エンジェちゃんは夢も希望もなくしたから自らの命を軽んじてしまった。彼女にどうやったら夢や希望を与えられるんですか？どうやったら生きることに意味を見出させることができるんですか？
それ私に聞いてんの？私パーよ。それも2回転ひねりの入った超パー。難しい話されてもわかんないわ。
After tossing the last bits of popcorn into her mouth, Lambda Delta threw the empty cup into the abyss of nothingness. Truck container ship worth of popcorn. Oh no! Oh, second. That's a lot of popcorn. ベルンがあの子をそそのかしたわけじゃないわ。ベルンはエンジェにチャンスを与えた。いえ、選択肢を与えたと言うべき。そしてエンジェはその選択肢の中から自ら選んでゲーム版に現れ、そして今バトラとのゲームで再び自ら選択肢を選んでる。あの子のゲームは最初から最後までずっとあの子のものよ。私は今それをのんびりと感激し、
感激に熱中しているというわけでもなさそうだ。
まあね、先の見えちゃったお芝居だし、だからそろそろおいとましようかなって思ってたところよ。
先が見えたと感じたらあなたはそのお芝居を見るのをやめるのですか？ひょっとしたらあなたが想像しないようなクライマックスを迎えるかもしれないのに。
Popcorn is fun. Oh yeah, it is. The only reason I might look like I'm complaining is because all of this talk is getting me hungry. Lambda Delta licked her salty fingers. Oh my god, no, stop it. Then she stared at Leon challengingly and grinned.
エンジェちゃんのゲームは絶対にこれで終わりません。必ずバトラ君の気持ちが通じます。彼女により良い未来を生きてほしいという気持ちが伝わり、彼女が自らそれを選択する。必ず絶対そういう物語になります。
へえ、この絶対の魔女ラムダデルタにあんたが絶対を保証するの？
そうです、私が絶対に保証します。エンジェちゃんのゲームはこのままでは終わりません。
I sure hope so, because it would be the biggest letdown.
だから席を立たないでください。そして私たちも立ちません。私たちにできることは必ずあります。そしてそれが必ず彼女をより良き未来へ誘う。この物語は必ずハッピーエンドになります。だから最後まで見届けてください。お願いします。
私絶対の魔女としてこの物語にハッピーエンドはないって宣言しちゃってるんだけど。
ハッピーエンドの定義なんて。
I was about to say, how do you define a happy ending? Who decides if it's happy or not? Yeah. For a while, there was a tense silence. With a confident gaze that seemed to be saying, "Are you serious?" Lambda Delta stared at Leon. However, Leon's eyes didn't even twitch. For some time, they both stared into the other's eyes without flinching. Suddenly, Lambda Delta let out a large sigh and stretched.
行くあてもないし。いいわ。もうちょっとだけ付き合ってあげる。ポップコーンのおかわりをくれたらね。今度はキャラメルフレーバーがいいわ。
Ooh, caramel popcorn. Oh no, no. I haven't had that in a long time.
黄金鏡へ来てくれればいくらでもご馳走します。
Lambda Delta waved at them with a thin smile. No one was quite sure what this meant, but it apparently signified her surrender in her own way.
いいわ。あんたがあんたなりの絶対のハッピーエンドを保証するなら、この大ラムダデルタ、もう少しだけ付き合ってあげるわ。ほんと 私って心が広いわよね。まるで琵琶湖のように。
微妙に狭いな。
そして日本海のように穏やかね。
Is it gentle?
すごい荒波で。
Yeah.
近景。おそらく例えが逆かと思われるものなり。
There was some muffled laughter. Lambda Delta is the witch who gives strength to those who possess unshakable willpower. She might have given Leon a bit of magic for that absolute belief in a happy ending.
みんな、私を退屈させるんじゃないわよ。じゃなきゃいつだって私は席を立っちゃうんだからね。
もちろんです。バトラ君も歓迎するでしょう。
I mean, you could have left at any point and you haven't, so I would assume you're not leaving now. You're gonna see this through. Leon understood. In order to fight back against Burncastle, who had taken Inja outside the board, they would need the power of another who was capable of leaving the board. Their last hope was to make sure Lambda Delta didn't abandon this game. However, judging by Lambda Delta's expression as she hummed to herself cheerily, actually asking her for help was probably going to be a problem.
見てゼパル、すごいわ。1階から下がぽっかりだわ。
これは絶景だね。なかなかお目にかかれない景色だよ。
上の様子はどうですか？そうそう、それを知らせに来たの。
やあみんな、お待たせしたね。黄金鏡の扉が開いたそうだよ。
やれやれ。
参りましょう。ここはいつまでも安全ではありません。
Everyone who had been sitting on the staircase got up.
さらば麗しの六軒島。
そうですね。こんな光景でさえこれが見納めなのですね。
何を器用なこと言ってんのよ。見せなさいよ、私に。ハッピーエンド。
The Book of the Truth. The Book of the Single Truth, sealed in crystal by Battler. Until I undo the seal, I can't even stick the key in the keyhole.
あんたには解けるのよね。
Sure, Banjo. No one can deny that for you. It's your own personal opinion and taste, and it's all yours.
その封印。もちろん。
Trying to understand what this background is. Is it like a library? Or where is it? They were in a vast, dimly lit space. To sum it up in a phrase, it was like a trench in the ocean floor. No, that's not quite right. It was a library. However, the number of books and the height of the shelves vastly surpassed all of those that existed in the world of humans. If height is the measure of greatness, then the gods must surely have been giants taller than mountains. This place appeared to be a library big enough and grand enough for such gods. Each individual book was no larger than those from the human world. However, the shelves holding them stood like the walls of a valley, or a deep sea ocean trench. So Enje and the others looked like little more than a few small butterflies who had wandered into this vast library, like minuscule deep-sea fish swimming about all alone in an ocean.
これは封印じゃなくて氷みたいなものよ。バトラの手から奪えば日向に置いとくだけで時間をかければ勝手に溶ける程度の脆いもの。手っ取り早く打ち砕けないの？あんたは冷凍サンマをハンマーで叩いて解凍するの？ごめんね、家庭科は1なの。 子猫たち、この封印の回答を。
When Barkistle whispered from the dark ocean pit deep below them, several emerald green glints appeared and gathered like a school of fish. Barkistle threw the book of the single truth down to them, and only after several seconds passed, the school of fish seemed to gather around it and carry it away. Those few seconds made it clear just how deep this bookshelf trench went. Enja was once again dumbfounded by this unimaginably vast and godly library.
あとはあの子たちに任せておけばいいわ。
本当に私に中を読ませてくれるんでしょうね。
あなたが望むならそれは叶うわ。そして私だってあなたのその鍵がなければ読むことが叶わない。
Enja silently gripped the golden key in her pocket. This journey has been so long and so strange. In search of the truth from 12 years ago, I left my home, met President Okonogi, met Amakusa. And at some point, that adventure became part of a witch illusion. However, here I am. Ushiromiya Eva's diary is here. The truth written inside it is sitting right before me.
しばらく休みなさい。私もあんたの相手だけをしていられるほど暇じゃないの。
別に疲れてなんかいないけどね。
エリカ、エンジェにお茶でもご馳走しなさい。はい、我が主。
Erika popped into existence out of nowhere and bowed to her master.
ベルンカステル、もしあんたが私をうまいこと利用して本と鍵を奪おうと考えているなら、ただじゃ済まさないわよ。
貴様、我が主に向かってなんて口を。
ごめんなさいね。魔女とずいぶん長くやり合ってたせいで、普通の言葉は信用しないことにしてるの。
いいわ。赤き真実で約束してあげる。一なる真実の書を封印が解けて一番最初に読むのはあなた、エンジェよ。これでいい？
For some time, Enja considered the witch's words, searching for some sort of trap hidden within them. There was no greater guarantee than a red truth given by a witch. Enja understood this well enough. If one did start to doubt even this red truth, there would be nothing left to trust in this entire world. If one began to suspect even this, then even the truth would no longer be truth.
まだ不満なの？
何も。
She would need Barcastle's help if she wanted to read the book of the single truth. Enja finally realized that she had nothing to gain by complaining more and annoying this witch further.
封印が解けたらすぐに読んでちょうだい。
もちろんよ。私だって早く読みたいもの。すぐに呼ぶわ。
Burn spun away from them, then vanished into the dark bookshop trench. Enja saw a school of emerald green fish appear and follow behind Barkastle. Could those be her familiars? As she stared at the emerald lights that resembled some sort of deep sea fish, Enja was poked from behind.
行きますよ、同志エンジェ。
気持ち悪いからエンジェでお願い。
じゃあ私のことはエリカ様でお願いします。
エリカ様。
行きましょう、同志エリカ。
ねえ。ねえ。The pair began to swim in the direction Erika indicated. Swim seemed the better way to describe what they were doing than fly would have.
ここは何なの？図書館って呼ぶにはあまりに広大すぎるわ。
どうせ覚えられませんから、図書館とでも呼ばれたらどうです？
覚えるかどうかは私が決めるわ。言いなさいよ。
尊厳なる感激と戯曲と傍観の魔女により厳選されし名誉ある図書の都です。
Noble city of carefully selected books.
やっぱ図書館でいいわ。言うと思いました。
Oh, NJ. The city of books. Yeah, the name fits. The bookshelves on either side of this canyon are skyscrapers. If I think of those emerald green lights flowing beneath us as headlights on a highway, then this really does seem like a city of books. Feather's Google Chrome bookmarks. Oh, that's such a good one.
ただの本じゃないんでしょ?
Yeah, nice.
ええ、これら一冊一冊が重厚な群衆劇をまとめたもの。ここでは本に見えますが、本を開けばそこには本当に世界があるのです。
私たちの長い物語もこの中の一冊でしかないのね。
遥か上層の霞んで見えないくらいに上層の大魔女はもはや神や造物主と同じ存在です。そんな連中から見れば私たちの物語なんて果たして一冊にまとめる価値があるかどうか。
From the theater goer's perspective, our individual lives are hardly worth anything at all. If they're writing down an entire world in a single volume, then my life probably isn't even worth a single line.
でも、私たちは主人公だわ。私も、あんたも。
そうです。神々の物語に記されることがなくとも、私たちが記す自らの物語の主人公は常に自分なんです。それを自覚できるかできないかが魔女と人間を分ける最初の分かれ道。
Oh, so sorry. They were in a balcony, which was really a room-sized section that had been dug out of the bookshelf, with no guardrail along the cliff. It didn't go in very deep, making it look like a room that had been cut in half. It was filled with the tools of everyday life, as though this was Erika's hidden house.
我が主よりお茶を振る舞えとの命令ですので、飲む気がなくてもロートを突っ込んで流し込みますから、そのつもりで。
それやったらお抹茶を振る舞うわよ。
抹茶？
なんでもないわ、こっちの話。
Ignoring Erika as she made tea, Angel looked down upon the bizarre, otherworldly scene below. Until Erika finished getting the tea ready, the scene held Angel's gaze like it was sucking out her soul.
こう言っちゃなんですけど。
Oh, sorry about that there. I still don't know exactly what that would have meant. Like, what? So if you try to pour it into me with a funnel, I'll have to serve you some matcha. Unless Erika also very much hates it. I personally like it. But that's me.
何？真実を得るために命を投げ出す契約なんてよくもしたもんですね。
生きて何かするあてもないなら、私にとって残りの人生を投げ出すことなんて対価としては安いものだわ。
Oh, is the reference to like what's her name again? Kasumi, is it? It was like an euphemism for, I guess, killing people. Okay. Yeah. Thank you for reminding me that I didn't piece it together.
こんな無気力女の無価値な命と引き換えに契約なさるなんて。
Enja chuckled, not bothering to argue. That was exactly right. How incredible that Burncastle would lend her power to a worthless life that was trying to throw itself away.
我が主は奇跡を司る魔女ですから。
Well, I hadn't really forgotten her per se, just had forgotten that bit. Or like, Enja saying that didn't immediately take me to that part. It was a long time ago, okay?
だからあんたみたいな無価値な女の前にも姿を現すのでしょう。
そうね。ベルンカステルが現れなくても、私はあの日、あの虚空へ一歩を踏み出していたのだから。
安い女。
じゃあ、あんたにはそれだけの価値が？
私ですか
The way Erika cackled was disturbing. Still, Enja realized that this was her way of answering the question. People don't become witches of their own choosing. If they're capable of living, all people want to live their lives as humans. When something comes along to trip up that life, that's when the road to living as a witch opens. Even Furudo Erika, who calls herself the Witch of Truth, must be like this. The two witches of truth sitting here drinking tea without even looking at each other are exactly the same. Being killed by Axa is better than having much tea. Oh, Baya.
私は真実を暴くのが好きです。
知ってるわ。
隠し事を暴き、相手がどうしてバレたんだと青ざめるのを見るのが大好きなんです。その瞬間、私は真実に至ったのだと確信し、恍惚を覚えます。
Do you dislike just the tea itself, or do you just generally dislike matcha as an ingredient in anything? Because I've had some sweets with matcha as an ingredient and they were pretty nice. It wasn't just the matcha, it was like a few other things together, and it came together very nicely. Personally, I liked it.
趣味の悪いやつ。
じゃあ、あなたにとって真実は何だというんです？
Enja was about to give an immediate answer, but she bit down her words. And once she did, not knowing the right way to respond, no further words came. After all, to Enja, the truth itself was the goal. At first it was out of hatred. Could Ushiramiya Eva, the sole survivor of Rokkenjiwa, be the culprit behind everything? She hated Eva, but she had no proof that her aunt was the culprit. And of course, Eva never talked about what happened on that island. The tea itself, I see. Sorry, Bob. Thankfully, the earth is full of plenty of other teas that are likely more to your liking, so hope you enjoyed those. So at first in Enja's eyes, the truth meant proof that Eva was the culprit. However, that feeling withered away with Eva's death. Now that Eva was dead, even if Enja did find some kind of proof, it wouldn't mean anything. So eventually the truth Enja wanted to find became nothing more than the simple desire to know what happened on that island that day. Chamomile, yeah, a classic. However, one thing was obvious. Even if she did find out the truth, that wouldn't bring any of her family back to her.
意味なんてないのかもね。
Plum tea, best girl style, nice.
意味もなく大好きなお兄ちゃんが隠す真実を暴く？あんたこそ意味がわかりません。
Erika laughed mockingly. Enja laughed too, as though she agreed.
だからね、私にとっての真実は目的に変わったの。生きるための理由とでも言えばいいのかしら。
じゃあ真実にたどり着いたらもう生きる意味も目的もなくなっちゃいますね。
そうよ。 だから死ぬの。もういいじゃない。12年も余計に生きたのよ。
Angel. I love her. She's so depressing in this state. I hope she snaps out of it soon because I don't know how much. It's breaking my heart. Come on.
そんな私に最後の瞬間くらい願いを叶えてくれる魔女が現れてもいいとは思わない？ぶっちゃけると生きるのにもう疲れたの一言でようやくできちゃいますね。そうよ。だから私の存在も生きる目的も何もかもが無意味。一なる真実の書にたどり着くという目的は、そんな私に人生最後のちょっとしたきらめきを与えてくれたわ。その一点でだけベルンカステルには感謝してるわ。なるほど。バトラはあんたに生きてほしいからあんたの死ぬためのゴールを隠してるわけですね。バトラさんに初めて登場します。妹は選べないですからね。
Sorry, Oni-chan. I'm tired of life. 12 whole years. I've been living off nothing but the illusion that someone might come home someday. Just let me find peace already. Finding the truth of that day, I decided I'd use that to mark the end of my life. For 12 years I've believed in a miracle, but there was no miracle. I won't believe in miracles anymore.
一なる真実の書。内心は私も興味津々でしたが、そんなあんたの人生のピリオド扱いじゃ大した真実は記されてなさそうですね。そうね。最初は経典同地の何かが記されているかもと期待したわ。でも今は何というか冷めてる。無価値なあんたが求める真実なんてどうせ無価値ですそれがあんたという無価値な人生のピリオドにふさわしいでしょう。ええ、きっとそうなのよ。
Angel was already starting to realize something. Regardless of why Eva decided not to talk about what happened, the real events of that day probably weren't anything earth-shattering. Some sort of malfunction made the bomb in that secret underground base explode. Yes, it was just an accident. But the public believed and hoped that some sort of plot surrounded the events of that day. Eva was a suspect herself, so she could claim that nothing strange had happened until she was blue in the face and no one would believe her. Of course, this included Enji. In that case, shutting up like a clam would just make things easier. It was hardly surprising that Eva chose to say nothing.
今は達成感なんて全くない。よくわからない気だるい疲労感があるだけよ。真実の魔女は真実に耐える力があるからこそ真実の魔女なのです。同志エンジェ、あんたにはどうやらその力がないようですね。あったなら死のうなどと思わないのですから。そうね。私は誰かが帰ってくるかもしれないという幻想に私がベアトリーチェの猫箱に都合よく真実を隠して一なる真実の書を読んだらあんたはどうなるんでしょうね。さあ、契約に従いベルンカステルがちゃんと私の首でも鎌で買ってくれるんじゃない？あるいはまたひき肉かしら。今度こそ塩と胡椒を練り込まれるわね。
At least she can joke about it, but it's too painful for me. Let's move on.
なるほど。だからひき肉なわけですね。何か言った？いいえ、何も。それよりおかわりはいかがです？ノーサンキュー。
Angel listlessly gazed down from the balcony with no handrail, down into the darkness of the abyss at the bottom of the bookshelf ravine. No, the gap between the bookshelf skyscrapers. From the beginning until the end of my journey, I haven't taken a single step away from this spot. This journey of mine, not even a single step long, will end soon. Would it be alright to maybe put the save point here, or is it like a short while until the conversation is over? Yep. I was just like waiting to see how it progressed, but it's kind of long, yeah. I get that sense that it will likely keep going for a longer time. Hachijo, Burn, Enji, and Erika have been spitting nothing but fire this episode. So many funny jokes, deep conversation, quotable lines. I guess so, but also there's a lot of repetition, and I can help but just wonder, where are we going with this? And also kind of bracing myself for something that I'm really not gonna like. But I guess that's just the Umineko PTSD speaking. Let's see where all of this leads. But yeah, we'll keep going with that next time. At the moment, my eyes are getting very, very heavy, and I don't know if I'm fully even paying attention, so it's better to just leave it there. I think we've hit a good mark in terms of time box, even though we had a little split there in the middle. But it's okay. Oh, sorry. Right. Alrighty. I very much like that title screen. I think it's one of my favorites so far. Where are we? Over here. Not much left now, just 4 or so streams. Ooh, oof. Getting close to it. Oh man. Oh man. Yeah. It will have been a year and a little bit of Umineko. Can you imagine that? I still can't wrap my head around it. And you've been here this whole time. Like, I mean, what? Thank you very much. Heart spammed right back to you. There you go. Alrighty. Yeah, at this moment, my brain is shutting down too much for me to say anything in relation to what we've been reading. I'm kind of also holding back a little bit whatever commentary comes into my mind, because I just want to let it play out and see where they're going with it. There's some additional stuff to read after that. Yeah. That's all right. I can imagine there is. But yeah, crazy to think. One more year. Oh god. Yeah. I can't conceive how it will feel once it's over. It will be very weird. It has come to be just like a normalcy. Yeah, like, oh, it's Tuesday or Thursday. Oh, it's Umineko time. Yeah, we'll see. Alrighty. For now, I will extend my thanks as per usual for joining me for this. You're all very patient and kind and sweet and awesome to chat with. I will go rest because I need it. Tomorrow I'm off. It's gonna be so nice, so I can sleep in as much as I need. No work to be done. I marathoned it today, unfortunately, so I'm really past that. Yeah, and I will see you again on Thursday evening with some more of this, and let's see where this whole thing is leading to. Looking forward to it. Love you all. Thank you again so much. Take care and see you in 2 days.